What was it that made you decide Watford was the club for you?
Well, really, I think it's the first division set-up in the second division. And if I can play a part in getting them back in the first division, I'd be happy to do that.
You came to find the club in the wrong half of the second division table. But really, people will say that your arrival springboarded the upwards. That game against Wolves must have been so important for you to get that first win under your belt.
Yeah, it's nice to have a good start.
And Gary Penrice did have a spectacular start with goals at Leeds and Ipswich before the home match with Wolves.
Faulkner. And Penrice, yes! The equaliser! Oh, superbly done! And Faulkner supplied, and Penrice delivered.
That game, a lot of people felt a lot hung on it, the Wolves game. But if I asked you to pick one moment from your early games at Vicarage Road, what would you pick?
I'd probably pick the Wolves game because it's your home debut. And like I say, it's important to get off to a good start. And obviously scoring a goal and winning the game was particularly pleasurable.
He's quite happy to join the attack at will and tee himself up. And Coton makes the save. That's nicely done by Hodges, and that's a marvellous ball for Wilkinson. Wilkinson against Kendall. And across the face of the goal, Hodges. Now Gibbs again. Left foot low cross, this time for Faulkner, and Kendall had to make the clean catch. Now a real chance here. The man who's clear and spare is Paskin, and Coton did well. Porter's wide if he wants him. The only real option he's got forward is Wilkinson, and he took the man on and did well. And again. Square ball to Hodges, the crowd warming to this now. Faulkner, and off the line by Cook. Finds Rhoda. Hodges. What a splendid battle we've got here now. Still Hodges. Sprayed for Wilkinson. A real opportunity for Wilkinson. Shots! Oh, that's magnificent! That is magnificent by Wilkinson. And Watford go into the lead. And that is a goal of real quality by Paul Wilkinson. And that ties it up and puts Watford into the lead at 2-1. Faulkner. Penrice. Rhoda. Penrice again. What a marvellous... And look at Richardson. Penrice had the shot long range. Wilkinson. Now Porter. And they really are. Porter's had a strike. And luckily for Kendall that it ran towards Street. Gary Porter's corner. Headed for Faulkner, who got there! And it's gone in! It's there! It's 3-1. Hodges. Penrice. Hodges. Rhoda. Faulkner. Penrice again. This is Richardson trying to tee up somebody for the shot. Penrice will take the responsibility, will he? Ashby. Penrice. Called him about 7 or 8 names today, I don't know why. It's away. This is Penrice, and it's run for him. He's worked so hard. The work rate of some of these Watford players today. This is Wilkinson. And Penrice is clear this time. He's going to have a clear chance to make it another. Penrice's shot. Kendall rebounds. And ball. And the referee said no. A splendid performance and a splendid result. And even the drama of going behind after 32 minutes to an Andy Much goal seemed to upset them. And they've come back with goals from Penrice, who's had a marvellous home debut, from Wilkinson, and also from Willie Faulkner. And listen to this. Probably the crowd says more than words can. Watford 3, Wolves 1.
The need for that victory over Wolves and the introduction of Gary Penrice's scoring power was shown by 2 consecutive home defeats that preceded it against Sheffield United and Plymouth Argyle.
And Hodges couldn't get there. And here is Bradshaw. That's well done by Dean. Bradshaw playing it back in again at Garner, and Coton had to tip it over, or did he? No. Here's Porter. It was a beautiful ball by Hodges as well, teeing Richardson for the shots. Hackett's cross almost found Wilkinson's head. Bradshaw away, only to Porter, not much option here. And that's deflected in! Gary Porter gets the goal. It took a wicked deflection. And Watford back in business. And Hodges is onside. Now, there could be something on here. Tracy's having to come. Hodges couldn't play it across the ball. And it just fell away at the crucial moment. And Thompson. It's the first time that he got the better of the header with the defender. This is Drysdale. Thompson, Faulkner, Wilkinson, Redfern teeing himself up. And Reece Wilmot getting down well. And again. And he's got the cross in Wilkinson's head. And Wilmot having to make sure it had gone behind. Faulkner. And again. Still going. Can he tee himself up? And a good save by Wilmot. Going. Still going. Chance here and a good stop by Coton. It was David Byrne who broke into the space. Wilmot's got it. Yes, at the moment, looking a little rattled. Hodges in for Roda. And it rebounded off his own player, Faulkner. And is it over the line? No, it isn't. Twists and turns. Thompson. Hodges. Putting himself about, really. He must know, perhaps, more than ever, that people will think, as that's a great stop by Wilmot. Thompson. Redfern. Wilkinson. Gibbs doing the chasing. And again. He sold a dummy. This is Redfern in with a chance. Redfern scores for Watford.
And overall, it really was a case of a bit of highs and lows as the season wore on. But Bradford, I suppose, will be remembered by the supporters. I mean, you, as well as being the club's chief administrator, people sometimes forget that you were in fact a professional footballer yourself, and you must have, watching that must have given you an enormous pleasure.
I can't remember when I got up at half-time at a match and went down into the boardroom thinking 5-0, and there were some terrific goals scored that day. Yeah, that was a great high for us. There's no question about that. And of course, you know, Bradford now are going to be in the 3rd division.
Penrice twists across the face of it. Wilkinson, and Wilkinson in the very first attack puts Watford into the lead, set up by Penrice, and we've been playing for precisely 3 minutes, and Penrice supplies, and Wilkinson finishes in style. Wilkinson, it didn't run for it, might now though. That's beautifully done. Here's Richardson, and Tomlinson can't do anything about it. That's beautifully struck. And Watford's second goal scored by Lee Richardson, and that is his first in senior football for the club, and it's one that will give him an immense amount of pleasure. Holdsworth. This is Porter, and it's 3! Oh, amazing scenes! Absolutely amazing scenes here. Hodges. Tomlinson hasn't got Holdsworth, and it's in for the 4th, and it's Gary Penrice who's got it. Hodges didn't quite find Gibbs, the Porter corner. Tomlinson stays on his line, may have to, and it's got it for number 5. And a marvellous moment again, and Watford get their 5th before the interval. And it's the first for Barry Ashby. Porter, Hodges, Wilkinson, yes. And this time he got past the advance of Gavin Oliver. He'll have to go on his own way. Tomlinson's come out. Wilkinson has scored. And it's 6 for Watford. And Paul Wilkinson's second goal of the game has made it 6-2. Hodges. Henry. The space just emerges from nowhere in particular. Now, can he go on? He can. Henry. He's got to the byline. The cross. Tomlinson. 7 and Lyburn. Henry gets it. But it may have to go down as an own goal by Tomlinson. But it's an amazing situation because Henry now has become the third Watford player in one game to score his first senior goal for the club.
From a high to a low, in March, we said adieu to Steve Harrison and Tom Whalley.
Yes.
And it wasn't an easy time for anybody. You were the person alongside the vice-chairman who had to phone Colin Lee on the Monday night, and he accepted the invitation to become caretaker manager. Those 24 hours from that moment to the end of the Brighton game must have been a 24 hours where really everybody experienced so much, and to see the end result, it must have been, looking back on it, that 24 hours really is when we went through everything in football, really, wasn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, it was a traumatic time for everybody because you don't know, first of all, how people are going to react when they're asked would they like to take on the mantle of caretaker team manager, as it was. I actually asked Colin Lee on the telephone whether he would accept that position, and I know that I hadn't got my words out before the yes was coming back up the line.
Colin, they say that it's one spark or one goal or something that can ignite a season. But I suppose for Colin Lee, 1989-90 season was ignited by a phone call.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, I was just really sat at home with my wife watching a TV programme. I think I was probably going to sleep because I don't watch TV very much. And the phone call came to tell me that Steve Harrison and Tom Whalley had been relieved of their duties at Watford, and I was asked to take control of the team for the following evening's game against Brighton.
Well, those are the key words, the following evening. It hardly gave you time to think, and there you were suddenly sitting on the first team bench. It was a remarkably fast 24 hours, wasn't it?
That's right, yes. I think in a way that was it was pretty good, really, that it happened that way, because it didn't give me time to think about it. I just took the training session the following evening and really just told the lads to go out there and do the business, which they did.
A chance for somebody to come in, and it's clear in the back of the net. So they get a second goal. What a strike! Faulkner jumped. This is Penrice. And Drysdale. Wilkinson.